Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop simping in the workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. I was reading an article yesterday where this Tennessee Congresswoman had proposed that most mass shooters participate in their horrific acts of violence because of pornography. Now, either this Tennessee Congresswoman is either completely clueless about the issue of mass shooters, or she's trying to deflect from the fact that most of these mass shooters come from single mother households and have been raised by single mothers to behave a certain way. Because when I take a critical look at most of these mass shooters, I clearly see a pattern emerging regarding them. And one of the patterns I see emerging regarding them is the environment that most of them come from. Because out of 28 of 29 of these mass shooters, 28 of 29 of them come from single mother households or divorced households. And that's a pattern that I saw emerging regarding their home environment. And that home environment had a direct correlation to their behavior. Because when it comes down to boys who grow up in single mother households, oftentimes these boys grow up to become beta males. And when it comes down to the beta male has been socialized to think, behave, and act just like a female. And this beta male, because he has not gotten guidance from his father and does not understand how to be a man like his father, in most cases he feels instead of thinks, and because he feels instead of thinks, he goes out here when he can't get his way or life doesn't go his way, and he doesn't know how to critically think and problem solve, so he goes out here and participates in these horrific acts of violence like mass shootings. Now, when it comes down to most of these mass shooters, there's a clear pattern emerging regarding their behavior. And when we take a look at the pattern related to their behavior, it clearly correlates with the way most of these beta males out here behave. Because whenever a beta male cannot get his way or cannot get what he wants, oftentimes the beta male just falls completely apart. And instead of him trying to think critically and find a way to achieve what he wants to accomplish, in most cases your beta male decides to lash out in an act of violence to destroy the world around him because he's used to having a smooth world. And the reason why your beta male is used to having a smooth world is because women go out of their way to meet his needs, like his mother, and because his mother is always going out of his way to meet his needs and give him what he wants, he does not know how to navigate the world the way men know how to navigate the world. Because, again, when it comes down to the beta male, he has been raised to think, behave, and socialize just like a female. And because he's been socialized and raised to behave and socialize like a female, he's used to others going out to meet his needs and not being able to go out and meet his needs on his own. Because when it comes down to the beta male, he knows how to be a man from a woman's terms. He does not know how to be a man from a man's terms. Because a man who has been raised by his father, in most cases, knows how to go out and meet his own needs. And he knows that he has to go out and meet his own needs because he is the primary person who will be going out to meet his own needs. So he knows he has to go out and get what he wants. And he knows that if he can't achieve what he has to accomplish, he has to go out and adapt in order to go out and achieve what he wants to accomplish, or he has to find a new set of goals overall. And in most cases, because they know how to get what they want and go out and get what they want, most men, in most cases, they usually learn how to navigate through their emotions, they know how to deal with situations, and they know how to move on. But the beta male, because he's used to having a smooth world created by the women in his life, like his single mother or beta male father and his teachers, he's not used to being able to do that. And because he's not used to being able to do that, usually this is why he gets angry, this is why he gets frustrated, And this is why he winds up simmering and boiling in anger. And when he has to go out into the world and try to meet his own needs, this is where he has what I call the beta male short circuit. And this short circuit is due to the fact that he has this logic that has been programmed in his mind by his single mother, by the way she has raised him in doing everything for him. And now people are expecting him to go out here and be the man and go out and meet his own needs, but he doesn't know how to meet his own needs. He's expecting others to go out and meet his needs. And usually, again, this is where he has the short circuit in his mind. This is where he starts malfunctioning. And this is where he starts to fall completely apart because the beta male, again, is used to women doing for him in the same way his mother was used to men doing for her. And because he's used to women doing for him in the same way that his mother is used to men doing for her, he's not equipped to go out into the world. And this is why many of these beta males wind up frustrated. This is why many of these beta males wind up angry. This is why many of these beta males wind up simmering and boiling in rage. And this is why they eventually wind up exploding and participating in these horrific acts of violence like mass shooters. Now, this Tennessee Congresswoman, what she wants to do is she wants to deflect from the fact that many of these beta males have not been raised in a way that makes them healthy, functional men by these single mothers and by many of these beta male fathers, because what she wants to do is, again, avoid dealing with the fact that women have messed up 2 to 3 generations of these men out here. And the reason why she wants to avoid dealing with that is because women don't want to take responsibility for the fact that they raised many of these boys in an extremely dysfunctional fashion in these single mother households or these households with these beta male fathers. So instead of trying to really confront the root of this dysfunction that leads to all of these mass shooters and this trend of mass shooters here in America, we have this Tennessee Congresswoman trying to deflect by saying that that pornography was the reason for all of these mass shooters. Now, when I take a critical look at all of these mass shooters, I don't see pornography as the motive for many of these mass shooters participating in the horrific acts of violence they participate in. And the only one where I saw one of these mass shooters using sex as a motivation was Elliot Rodger. And even then, pornography had a minimal reason for his motivation for participating in that murder. Now, when it came down to Elliot Rodger, yes, he did watch pornography at an early age on the internet. However, the motive for Elliot Rodger participating in that massacre down in California was because he could not get the attention of the woman that he fantasized about, a tall, attractive, blonde, white female. And that fantasy came from him having ideas about women and an ideal about the woman he always wanted to have a relationship with. And that goes back to the smooth world he was used to living in, a smooth world that was enabled by his mother and his father, who went out of their way to go out here and buy him friends and pay people to be his friend, instead of trying to teach this young man how to navigate social situations or how to go out here and pursue relationships with other people. When it came down to Elliot Rodger, he did not get the life skills that he needed to survive in the world from his mother or his beta male father. And because he did not get his needs met by his mother or his beta male father and was not taught the life skills he needed to survive in the world, this is one of the reasons why your Elliot Rodger went out here to participate in that mass shooting. And when it came down to most of the mass shooters I have studied for the last couple of years, most of them, again, were either motivated because they did not get what they wanted out of life, or they did not know how to go out and get what they wanted out of life because they were raised in these single mother households. And because they were raised in a single mother household, what happened was these boys did not get the life skills that men get from other men. Because when it comes down to men, men teach their sons at an early age that they have to go out and get what they need for themselves, because when it comes down to men, most men know that they are the only ones who will be able to go out there and meet their own needs. So they teach their sons at an early age that they have to put themselves first, they have to set goals for what they want, and they have to pursue what they want with all their passion. And when they go out here, they teach them to be able to persevere in the face of failure, in the face of rejection, and in the face of loss. And they teach them that by teaching them that when they fail, they have to get up, dust themselves off, and go back out here again. But they teach them that if something doesn't work with one person, they have to go find someone else who will help them achieve their goals. When it comes down to the beta male in most cases, because he lives in the smooth world and his mother does everything for him, he's only used to doing things one way. And when things don't work out exactly on that one way that he expected them to, again, this is why your beta male falls completely apart. And because he falls completely apart, he doesn't know how to get back up and dust himself off. No, in the case of the beta male, he has these short circuits, he has these malfunctions, he falls completely apart, and then he just blows up and then decides to destroy the world around him because he's not getting his needs met the way he wants, exactly how it wants. Because again, in the beta male smooth world, everything has to go one way and everything has to work one way. That means when it comes down to this beta male, he has to be able to not only get the job that he wants or get the girl that he wants, but he has to get it in the way he imagined in his mind. And when it comes down to the world doesn't work that way because the world does not go out of its way to meet the needs of one individual. People have to go out in this world to get what they want, and they have to let others know what they want. And when it comes down to the beta male, he never lets people directly know what he wants. He expects people to kind of figure out what he wants because just like a female, the beta male doesn't expect people to go directly to people, to go talk to them and let them know what he wants. He thinks that people are just supposed to figure him out, anticipate his needs in the same way that his mother anticipated his needs or eventually figured out what he wants. Well, in the real world, it just doesn't work that way, and most beta males who have been raised in these single mother households or these households with these beta male fathers, they have not been prepared or equipped to be able to go out into this world and function just like a healthy, functional man. Now, when it comes down to a healthy, functional man, again, a healthy, functional man knows from day one he is the only one who will meet his needs with the help of God, and he is the only one who has to be able to make a way to meet his needs. So he has to start going out to do for himself at an early age, and he has to be able to go out here and do what he needs to do in order to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. But these boys who have been raised in households by women, they are used to women doing things for them, and they're not used to going out and doing things on their own. And this is one of the reasons, again, why these guys go out here and participate in these mass shootings, because they're not, just like the women in their life who have raised them, they're not used to people saying no to them, they're not used to people rejecting them, they're not used to failing, and they're not used to things going their way. But a man is used to people saying no to him, he's used to people rejecting him, he's used to failing, and he has to be used to that because he has to build a discipline and resolve in order to go out here and achieve what he wants to achieve and accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And this is something that your Tennessee Congresswoman just doesn't understand regarding the issue of mass shooters. Now, when it comes down to the mass shooter is a male who has been raised in a dysfunctional way. He's been raised in a dysfunctional way by a group of dysfunctional females who were raised in a feminist culture, and that feminist culture told them they could raise a boy to be a man on their own, and that feminist culture told them they could not only raise a boy to be a man on their own, but they could raise a boy to be a better man on their own than their father. And we see with the results over the last 50 years that that hasn't happened. And what we really have in America is a man crisis, because many of the boys who were raised in these increasingly single mother households are growing up to become malfunctioning men, dysfunctional men, and men who are having short circuits, malfunctioning, falling apart, simmering and boiling in rage, and then eventually exploding in that rage. And the reason why they are exploding in that rage, again, is due to the faulty programming they got from that single mother. Because in order for a man to be functional, he needs information not only from his mother, but also from his father. And with that information together, he can go together to become a balanced, functional man. Because a man needs to have not only feminine energy, but masculine energy. And a lot of these boys lack the ability to be masculine because they have not had a father in their life. They have not had a man in their life to teach them. And either or, if they've had that man in their life, he's one of these beta males, and he's extremely passive, he's not hands-on, and he's not making efforts to teach the boy the life skills he needs in order to go out here and be the man he needs to be. Because when I take a look at many of these mass shooters, I clearly see a pattern emerging regarding their behavior. I see a pattern emerging regarding the environments they came in. And I see a pattern regarding many of the motivations they have. And all of those patterns are coming together to form a singular picture regarding these beta males, and it's showing me a profile regarding these beta males. And the sad part is most of America is in denial regarding these beta males in America, and they don't want to deal with these beta males here in America and the man crisis we're having here in America. Because when we take a critical look at this man crisis here in America, the finger points at the American woman, and the American woman, again, no one wants to confront her about the way we have raised boys here in America, because these women primarily are the largest voting bloc here in America, and they control most of the economy here in America because they have a majority of jobs. And because these women are the largest voting bloc here in America, and they control the economy here in America because they have most of the jobs, these congresswomen, like this congresswoman in Tennessee, would rather deflect from the issue and say it's pornography rather than point the finger at many of the voters in our own constituency and hold them accountable for the dysfunctional way boys have been raised here in America over the last 50 years, and let them know that many of these mass shooters come from the households you created, and many of these beta males were raised in a culture of dysfunction that you created. And because we the people don't want to take accountability in these situations, that's why this man crisis is going to get worse. These mass shootings are going to continue, and things aren't going to change because most Americans would rather deflect and say that it's an issue like gun control or pornography that's leading to all these mass shooters, instead of taking a long, hard, critical look at the home many of these boys are being raised in, and the culture we are raising, where boys are starting to see that they have no value in this gynocentric world and that they have no worth. And because they have no value and no worth in this world, this is why some of these boys are falling apart and exploding and believing that they have to go out here and destroy the world around them because they see no place for them in it. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct Men's Issues books, like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Manginas, They Look Like Men But They Act Like Ladies, The Misadventures of Captain Save-A-Ho, and Stop Simping in the Workplace, and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.